All right, welcome to the first installment in our brand new Boughton Legal series. Tonight we're going to be starting a chat about the legal aspects of starting a business. The right business structure conveys significant benefits to the owners and appropriate protection from risk. What on earth does any of that even mean? Luca Citton is a corporate and commercial lawyer and partner at Boughton Law, and Luca's on the phone with us now. Hi, Luca.
How are you, Drex? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. You know what? It's interesting that this is the first one we're starting with because I'm just about to set up my own business away from the radio station for the things that come out of my mouth for voices. And it's interesting reading through the stuff you've sent over. It's interesting. Do most people even realize that there's a whole legal aspect to setting up a business? Because it seems that businesses are popping up everywhere at the moment.
Well, it is, and this is basically the entirety of my practice. So I'm glad to know that people actually do think of these things and call with quite regular frequency on these matters.
And for those that don't know, how should things be structured? If you're just about to say you're opening up a store of some description, what sort of legal risks do you need to weigh when opening doors on a business?
Well, we like to use the analogy of building a house. And if you compare, say, building a house to building your business, you obviously always want to start with the proper foundation. And, you're not going to build your house on a bed of sand or on a beach. And in the same way, you want to have your business start out in the right way. And generally, the most important thing, the most popular corporate structure is a company. So we generally advise people to actually have their business incorporated.
Even if you've got, say, 2 employees?
Yes. Well, I mean, there's a number of different benefits that will outweigh the small cost up front of setting it up. And, the big one is liability. And often, depending on the type of business, liability can be great. And at law, a company is seen as an individual. So if that company is faced with a lawsuit, liability is limited to the assets that company holds. So you can imagine that if you hold maybe $100 in your bank account and that's the only thing the company holds, liability and risk is very slight. And so if you're in some kind of service whereby you might be saying off-color things on the radio and it's ripe for lawsuits, you're going to want to ensure you're properly protected.
I don't know who you're referring to there. Let's talk about tax. Is there certain tax benefits to having your business set up as a company as well?
Yeah, obviously there's a corporate tax rate that's much lower than the individual tax rate, and that's in fact, as you alluded to, we're doing a series here on the life cycle of a business. In subsequent segments, we'll be talking in greater detail about the tax benefits.
And now, let me ask you this: if I'm, as I am, just at the start of setting up a business, but I don't really know much about. I know what I want to be able to do as a business, but I don't really know about the structure in the background. Is there certain things I should be taking into consideration before even thinking about setting up a business when it comes to my legal affairs?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these days with the plethora of information on the internet, everyone can set up their own company online. And it's not really the setup that's the difficult part. It's now how do I use it? And oftentimes, say, you personally might have been doing this business of voiceover work in your own name, and you've developed some assets in doing that. Maybe you've built a record studio, or you actually have some demos that you've built up in which you own the intellectual property. Simply starting with the company to operate that business now, when you've been using your own name, you can't just do that. We need to transfer those assets into that company structure. It's much like an empty bucket. We need to put the tools that you've been using into that new company. And if it's something like what we're talking about with, say, someone, again, who's a voiceover artist, there's going to be some intellectual property rights there, and whether it be a copyright or a trademark, and all these things have different and particular registrations that will need to then be transferred to the company.
All right, there you go. There you go. The first in our ongoing series, and look, it's going to be fascinating to hear the rest. To go through the life cycle of a business. It's our new legal series with our legal partners, Boughton Law. And Luca Citton is one of their corporate and commercial lawyers, a partner there as well. Luca, thanks for coming on, giving us some basic information, and we'll add on to that as we continue with this series. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Drex.
All right, there you go. Luca Citton there from Boughton.